Hello and welcome back. All right, so I hope you got a chance to complete the exercise which was given in the previous chapter. In case you have not completed the exercise, please go and complete that exercise and then continue watching this particular video. Because without doing the hands-on exercises, it is very difficult to learn programming. So take it from me. I hope you have done this and I trust you are in line with what we want you to become rather, all right? So thanks for that. Thanks for completing the exercise. So now in this chapter, we will discuss about the iteration statements and we'll start with how to implement while and do while statements in a Java program for loop based programming. While and do while statements are useful for executing certain piece of code or a block of code repeatedly. So it is again a fundamental statement in programming. What is loop? So it's a pretty straightforward mechanism where if you want to repeat a statement or a code block, as long as the controlling condition, what you see here in the body as is true, and this is basically resulting in a Boolean expression, and this Boolean expression, as long as it is true, the body of the particular loop keeps on executing. So that's a basic concept, and it comes out of the loop only when the condition becomes false. That's a basic concept of a while statement, and the loop is not executed if the condition is false before entering this particular place. For example, if you have a condition a is greater than 20, okay, if a is less than 20, so if a is 10, it will not get into this loop itself. So this is the basic difference between while and do while statement. In some places you might have to execute at least once. In that case, do while statement comes into picture. So do while statement and while statement both are same. Only difference is that I will execute the body of the loop at least once in the do while statement, which means I execute and then compare the condition or evaluate the condition. So that's the basic difference here. As you see in this structure, do and execute this statement body of loop and then evaluate a condition, and thereby it is guaranteed that at least once it will be executed. So in the same example that we discussed now, with the while statement, if a is equal to 20 and if the condition is if a is less than 40, let's take a simple example. In this case, the body of the loop gets executed. Later, the condition is evaluated and it comes out of the loop. So this is the basic difference between while statement and do while statement. So with this, let's look at a sample how this works and how we can basically go ahead and understand the functionality of a while statement. For this purpose, I've already created a sample class and I will walk you through the class so that it will be easier to understand, and instead of typing everything as part of the demo, I just want to use a class which is already created. All right, let's take a look at this number guess game. So what is this game? So let's first run this program. So let us run the number guess game. So first run the program, understand the behavior, and then look at the code. All right. So guess a number between 1 to 100. So I say, okay, 25. So it's a number between 1 and 100, and actual number generated is 19. So my guess was wrong. So your guess is wrong. Try again or enter 0 to quit. So let me try again. Okay. 81, and just give this guess. This actual number generated is 7. So again, it's just like a random number that is getting generated by the program. Now 0 to quit. So enter 0 and hit enter. I am coming out of this particular loop of this particular execution. So let us see how this program is implemented using a loop statement while. Okay. So for this, I have the standard scanner. I guess this is clear for you people. So now I want to generate a random number. So what I do, I will say while true, because we did not had any condition to just come out just like that. So only when you hit 0, I will basically come out. So as of now, we could say while true, it will be executing. So while true is also another typical mechanism which can be basically used, where true itself is a condition. Now, here we see that system.out.println, we are saying this guess a number between 1 to 100, and we got this from the scanner, and we do see this if guess is equal to 0, because we have said try again or enter 0 to quit. So if it is 0, break. So we are breaking the loop. Again, we are using a jump statement where we are breaking and coming out of this particular loop, or rather exiting the loop. Okay. Then we have an option to generate a random number. So for generating a random number, we use a simple class called math. So math is basically a class from java.lang package, and .random gives me a number which is nothing but a double that gets generated. I am basically converting into 100, and it basically gives me a decimal, and this gives me a random number in the range of 1 to 100. So that's a basic functionality. So once I get the random number, I am checking if it is equivalent to the guessed number by the user. If it is yes, hey, we could say yes, your guess is correct. If not, you could basically say the actual number is so and so and your guess was wrong. This is a very simple logic to help you understand how we can create a loop. Now comes the question, I don't want to use true here, or I want to basically bring this condition itself. So if guess is not equal to 0, so if you want to bring, you could also check if it is not equal to 0, and I want to basically continue with the loop, and if it is equal to 0 anyway, I will break. So that is another option which you can basically use with some condition also. Now here what happens if the while statement is executed in this case only when the condition is met. So now let us go to the second example here, where we are implementing the logic of an ATM pin validation. So I want to validate if the pin entered is correct or not. For this purpose, I am basically giving the user 3 attempts, and I want to ensure that I give the user an option to enter the pin and then validate, and if it is not valid, I want to go into a loop. So for that purpose, we are using do while loop. So here the number of attempts is 3, and I have a current attempt as 1. So the first attempt, I want to validate the pin. So to see if it is a valid pin or not, I am just using a flag. Valid pin is false by default. I am assuming that it is a wrong pin, and I'll scan and get the pin. And for this program, I am expecting if the pin is 1, 2, 3, 4, it is valid. So this is just for the demo purpose. If it is not 1, 2, 3, 4, I would say it is not a valid pin, and I will allow the user to retry. So this is the basic example. So let us run this program and let us understand how it works. All right, please enter the pin. So let me enter a different pin and hit enter. So you see that it is showing me the information saying that invalid pin, please retry again. So I give this one again. It says invalid. So how many attempts are there? There are 3 attempts. So the third attempt, what it will do, it will say you have exceeded the maximum attempt. So this is a simple example which you see in many websites as well. So whenever you enter a username and password, multiple times you do, it will be locked. Your account will be locked. So that's a simple example what we are trying to bring in here. If you have entered the right pin, so let's take an example by running this again. So this is not an infinite loop. So this is a loop with some finite condition. So maximum 3 attempts. So this is another logic that we can basically implement here. So please enter the pin. So I entered a wrong pin, and then I entered the right pin. The right pin is 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the correct pin. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And hit enter. So then it says welcome to ABC Bank or whatever. I'm just giving an example of how you can validate and keep the user engaged with that particular loop. So this is a way in which you can implement your logic either using while or do while depending on your requirement. So this is a basic concept. So This is about while and do while statements, the fundamental statement for creating loops. In addition to this, we do have another type of looping statement called for statement, which we will discuss in the next chapter.